All right, happy Tuesday, everybody. Well, it's Tuesday for me, which means that it is rehearsal night. And I thought I would kind of walk you through something a little different. Lately, the videos on the channel have been, more tech-focused, pedals, guitar, playing, Sunday playthroughs, and that kind of thing. Today, though, I wanted to do something a little different and might offer, some level of expertise or something that kind of helps you with your playing, and that is rehearsals and practices, but kind of with an asterisk. First off, I am a youth pastor, and I have a plethora of other things that I do throughout the week. I'm married. We are expecting our first child in just less than 100 days. So getting the house ready, stuff with the youth, meetings, just admin stuff, different things, right, take up a lot of my time. So I don't necessarily have a lot of time to devote to a lot of my hobbies. And I have a lot of hobbies, whether it's golfing or hanging out with friends, pickleball, riding bikes, different stuff, guitar, making these kind of videos. I kind of have to pick and choose and kind of, put it around that schedule. And then there are some moments where the stars align and the songs that are on the list for Sunday aren't necessarily songs that are in my wheelhouse. So if you haven't noticed, my guitar and my pedal board aren't even on the table right now because first thing I'm going to do, and I already have, this isn't to say that it's Tuesday night, I have rehearsal tonight, and this is the first time that I'm doing this. This is just my perspective to you. In this instance, I'm not necessarily the strongest on some of these songs because it's not up in my forte of style. And so there's a couple of things that you need to understand when it comes to playing in a band, specifically church-focused. And even more specifically than that, on this type of Sunday for us, which is our choir Sunday. So what does that mean? Let me unpack that for a little bit. Well, that means that focus is probably not on the intricacy of my parts. The focus is not on necessarily me nailing the tone. The focus for this Sunday is our choir and the fact that we have all these songs that they're singing, and I'm there not one of 8 now, or one of 7 or 6, or a small band with, maybe some frontline singers. Now I'm one of a lot more than that. If we've got a 35, 45, 50 person choir, the frontline, all the band, man, I take up so little space in the realm of music and what we hear, the audio side of things. And so first and foremost, your presence matters, but I think for this Sunday, it's a little different. All right, knowing the song, now I can grab some pen and paper, and I'm gonna start making some ideas. So I did the one song, I did give him praise, and I'm gonna play through it here in just a second and kind of show you what I mean. But this is kind of how I break down songs, right? Listening critically, and trying to approach it from a perspective of, maybe I don't nail everything, but I want to get at least the fundamentals. This song is incredibly locked. And what that means is you don't really hear a lot of deviation from other instruments. They're all kind of in the pocket together. And so, even though there's a guitar player, 2 guitar players maybe, that bass player and that drummer are really setting the tone. And so, as a rhythm player, making sure I'm with the bass player, not only in melody, so my notes, my bass notes, but also using any accents that I'm doing to kind of match either the snare or some hi-hats or some ghosting. There's a lot of lifts, a lot of moments where it's a breath and the vocals kind of do something and then we come back in. There's a lot of walking. And so, it's going to be a toughie. I've played this a couple of times in my past, and so I'm gonna have to dust off the fingers and see if I can remember it. For the intro, very simple. Whatever I can kind of do to kind of float around those chords. the verse, I'm really just following that bass pattern all in the pre-chorus and kind of the going into the kind of the bigger moments. There's definitely some walks following the bass line, but maybe adding a little bit of like flair. There's a lot of group lines that we all want to hit together. They sound pretty simple. It should come back. And then the bridge finally kind of gets into like kind of like a kind of a build. So everybody's kind of bouncing at the same time, but it kind of opens up. So now that I have listened to the song, kind of broken down how I think this is going to go for Sunday, taken some notes, I've got a mental space kind of ready for what I think is going to happen. Now I'm going to grab the guitar stuff and start putting thought to tone. All right, so guitar, everything's here. We're good to go. So now I can already tell by looking at Planning Center, we're in B flat. I think I'm going to start with that, just the bell star. So now I'm going to just kind of get my bearings set. So real quick, just thinking from a sense of numbers, we've got 8 scale degrees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 1. So just the way I'm thinking about it, I know that there's going to probably be a lot of roll-offs to a flat 7. I can't do that if I play the B flat down here. So we're going to be hitting a lot of those like flat 7, 1, 4, flat 3, just kind of like some running. Knowing that, I'm going to kind of start playing the song here a little bit and try to get a feel for kind of where the positions are best suited for guitar. Do they go to the 1 again? Okay, so if you've been paying attention, if you've been watching, obviously we've kind of got it figured out. So just kind of walking you through my mentality, right? So first, figured out what key we were in, found some better shapes, and then figuring out those lines. So while at first I was playing it up high, probably not the best place to do it because we have a bass player. So just find the octave. Same thing, like it just sounds better to do that sounds better to me than that. Just sounds low. It sounds cool, but I think and then just figuring out those runs, right? And obviously, it's going to be different for everybody. how you like to play and where you like to put your fingers. Like, obviously, I could do pinky there and slide down. Mentally, going down here resets me to, so less thinking. And then it's just a matter of putting in reps. So here, when we're done, I'm just gonna keep going over it so that, and then that, I'm just gonna keep doing this stuff until it feels natural, and then I might start playing around. Like, do we do more some of the lead stuff in that bridge? Hopefully this has been helpful. I have a couple more songs that I have to do this process on, but you know, obviously some of those intricate parts, but then, you know, just looking at it from a base level, right? If you were just covering rhythm, just answering some of those kind of more simple questions of like, obviously, maybe you're not going to nail it. Maybe you don't have the time. Maybe you're not a paid musician. Maybe you do this as a volunteer thing. Maybe you do this just because you like to play. Obviously, if you have the time to practice and you have the time to put in all the effort to learn everything note for note, all that stuff, you should. But always cover your bases. Understand who you're serving with, understand key of the song, where your positions are going to be at, understanding communication. So if I am missing something and I walk into practice tonight and I'm like, Nate, I want to be able to communicate to him that I'm starting that run, you know, on the 1, and I'm going to the 2, and then a flat 3. I want to be able to communicate these numbers to him, so if he's like, actually, no, it needs to go to this, or it needs to do this, I can communicate that. And if, you know, at some point he's like, hey, we're going to repeat a section, I want to have it so ingrained in me that it's just an easy pickup, right? I hope this has been helpful, and I have got to go get practicing for the rest of these songs. And I will see you next time. Comment below anything you want to know about anything. It seems to be a good trend, so I try to answer all questions, whether they apply to the video or not. But thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys next time.